What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Due to some technical difficulties, unfortunately, we were not able to get Revenge onto the broadcast, but we will be looking to speak with him in the future because we want to know what's going down over there and how the top lane Wukong is turning out. Great game by FlyQuest, and we will definitely look to get some answers from them or just talk to them in the near future. Crumbs, are you ready to jump into our next game of the day with that?
This is a game I have been waiting
This
for
is a game.
all week long because there's a hot debate. Who's better, TSM Academy or C9 Academy? TSM's got the record. They both have a 5-game win streak, but the Cloud9 games have looked significantly more dominant than some of the more very
That's true.
close TSM late game situations.
That's true. And I remember Diamond coming out in the in the beginning of the split too, saying, ready to smurf on some kids. Here come the champs. We back in Academy. And then that didn't really come to fruition right away.
It looked rough at the start, and we obviously have to feel for them that they lost
Yeah.
King last time around. But Tomo has been quietly pretty darn good. C9 does a good job of finding these AD in the bot lane, and he also plays a lot of mages. Now, every time he's played mages has been against the Aphelios, so they've played against Aphelios a ton, so we've seen him bust those out quite a bit, but it's a depth that C9 has that no other team in the Academy has really been able to play well.
All right, Crumbs. So let's get your take on it. TSM, our first place team, Cloud9 coming back with a 5-game hit. They're feeling good. The last 5 games have looked much more dominant. Where are you looking this match?
So I am actually looking into the top lane here. I think that
Okay.
Fudge is one of the best Academy talents thus far. He is really strong here, and you can see that he's got a pretty strong gold differential. I guess not that strong. 420 gold is really just a longsword or a ruby crystal, but the KDA is a really interesting thing because they're playing carries. Both these top laners are playing, whether it's Jaces, whether it's Camille's, whether it's Wukong's. They really want to be influencing the game in a much more active way versus playing tank duties like Orange. So a lot of it comes down to playing around these guys and trying to get them ahead, and then seeing how they transition these fragile champions into the team fighting phase, because we all know anybody can get ahead playing a carry in the top lane, but can you find a way to team fight when you have to go into those dragon fights, or can you 1-3-1 and effectively
Right.
transition that into a dive somewhere else? That is where your carries are really made.
And speaking about carries, I have my eyes focused on the mid lane. This is Evolve versus Palafox for me. It looks
True.
like through and through, looking at how strong they have been, looking at the champion pools that they can bring out. I mean, Evolved, your Honda Scouting Grounds pick coming in last time as #1. This guy has just been able to produce results around the clock for TSM on different champions. And they share somewhat of the same champion pool, have a bit of similar statistics as well, as you can see, except for that jungle proximity. But just looking at how the teams work, these two are aggressive, and they definitely bring the impact plays to the table. I hope they get just not karma, right? We can say that. I'm not going to say a bunch of champions they do get. I just hope they get not karma so we can see some explosive plays from the mid lane from them.
Absolutely. Please, no karma in the mid lane, especially when Evolved has been somewhat of like a mini Bjergsen, in the sense where even if the
Yeah.
team is struggling around, he can solo carry a lot of these fights, especially on the Zoe. We've seen his Zoe just be an absolute just menace on the Rift, winning fights that they had no business winning. And if you've got a mid laner that's able to play these solo playmaking champions and deliver on it, it's exactly what you want going up against an opponent like Cloud9, because yes, the stats are cool. Yes, the game is going to be close. But
Yeah.
when you are against an opponent that is of your equal level, on stage, you need clutch players. You need somebody that shows up and can
Yeah.
actually make the game-winning play above everybody else. And that's what Evolved has done. We just haven't seen them do it against Cloud9, which is why it's so exciting that this matchup is happening today.
And it will be interesting to see who gets the control early game, because the stats, as we have a bit go throughout the game, looking at early game performance, both are strong, and then whoever takes the lead there probably wins the game.
And a lot of the lead for TSM has come into the bottom lane as well, from
Yeah.
lost in trees, being able to transition their advantages over to other sides of the map. So we obviously can go on for days about the strength of both these teams. And
Yep.
the interesting thing that I think a lot of people might be thinking is, who did TSM drop that game to? Well, believe it or not, they lost it to an LCS team. They lost to the Immortals roster that is now playing in LCS. So if we don't get to see that matchup again, at least not that we know of thus far, but every other team they've been able to beat, and we get to see how they perform against Cloud9. And in the bottom, if we don't have a Felios, I'm fairly confident in that it's going to be just a AD support versus classic AD support.
Yep, we're about to get into Champions League soon. You saw a few of the stats there at the bottom of the screen, just how much it matters that TSM can actually get that early lead because of the mid-game stats falling off a little bit, and C9 being a little more proactive around the board. And I think we see that from both of their teams, just the way the squad is developed overall through that organization. So I am super excited to see what they have here. Also, picks and bans today I feel like have been very different. I couldn't find the exact word I wanted. My brain thesaurus and dictionary aren't working today. But just such a super different day where teams, I think, are saying, hey, it's the halfway part of the split. If we need to make something happen, let's focus out exactly what we want. Let's do a 5 marksman ban. Let's do something else. And I hope we get something as well out of this game that can throw each other for a loop.
You just reminded me that happened. 5 marksmen. 5 marksman ban, and you still get a failure. Something went wrong there. But yeah, the picks have been wild. 10.13, trying to make everybody pick something new up. And it's cool to see that the patches inspire people to play. And a lot of it comes down to just seeing what happens around the world as well, seeing what everybody else is prioritizing it and trying to instill it in your own gameplay, especially if they're picks that a player is already familiar with and just hasn't been involved with. So a big one, the Ashes. I think that's going to be a really powerful pick today in this game.
Yeah, we see that here.
Teams prioritizing vision, teams prioritizing engage, strong laning phase. I'm like, Ash fits all of those.
We will have to see. You were talking a little bit about the bot lane of Lost Streets and Tomo and Diamond. Do you see or think or want, whichever of the few you choose to go on your choose your own adventure question, Tomo to be on Marksman, on the AP? Did you like him on the Cassiopeia? What are your thoughts there?
So I like him on the Mages. He's been playing Cassio and Syndra exclusively. Now, Syndra did get that Dark Sphere nerf to her early mana, but it's fine if once you hit a few levels. So at level 4, you're going to have that mana decrease start to normalize. So it's not that big a deal.
Okay.
He's only playing it when it comes to going up against Aphelios, and that's something that I think TSM is not going to fall under, because what happens when you don't have a mage in the bottom lane or a marksman in the bottom lane, it is a lot harder to dive it at a lot of the time. Right? It's pretty easy to go into, oh, okay, that's an Ezreal, right? We have a Nautilus, like point, click, delete. You don't have to worry about that, but something like a Cassiopeia down there, right? Level 6 Cassiopeia, big no. Very difficult to maneuver around those dives. Same thing with a Syndra. So it makes it so that C9 is a lot more defensive in their bottom lane and also has an ability to allow Fudge to play a lot of these carry champions in the top lane so that he can go and play the Camille's, he can go and play Wukong, Jace, any physical damage bruiser.
And we are into picks and bans. I am so stoked for this game right now. So we're on 10-1-3. As we have been for the other games, not pulling any tricks. TSM versus C9 Academy here in Week 5. And Thresh gets taken away from Diamond. Gotta respect the hook. Kalista actually banned away from C9. We've seen all Kalista bans currently from Red side today, as well as that Varus. But this time it's coming in from C9, so they definitely don't want Lost to get any of that sort. Maybe combine it with the Taric later. And the Bear poking it with a stick one more time. C9's going to pick that up first.
We've seen, I believe, 3 games thus far where blue side first picks the Volibear. So
yeah.
Very powerful, and it doesn't give much away except that, hey, you got a really strong jungler thus far because no one's really putting it into the bottom lane. But TSM instantly responds with double ranged carry. Well, marksman here. I think that the Senna kind of shows what you're going for. Now, the interesting thing comes down to what do you pair with Senna, because we've seen Wukongs, we've seen Zillions, we've seen so many different picks that you can go with her that it allows TSM's creativity to really shine and try to attack what C9 is going for, but they are not budging. They are picking hard engage and something that can really punish this pick, because that is one of the weaknesses of Senna. If she gets behind, she is just a sitting duck, and I think this might be a pairing with the Wukong. We don't know just yet. On red side, TSM will save that for last.
Dude, these are hella fast picks. It's like everybody's getting what they want. They're perfectly fine with what the opponent has. I think you're looking at that Syndra you were just talking about for Tomo as well on the C9 side.
I think so too. I think this is a bottom lane Syndra now. C9 likely won't show us what's going on with her. I think they'll save that Syndra, that mid lane pick for last and lock in the top lane for Fudge right away, whereas TSM will also take their mid laner right away, banning out that Cassidy, and I'm thinking they might be going about maybe an Azir or a Corki right away just to make sure that you have something that's not going to potentially have a hard time dealing with the Cassidy. And C9 is going to slap down that Zoe. We don't want to see Evolved hard carry on that one. And you need a mage here because you already are stacking AD.
Where is that Zoe? So now seeing the bot lane, they get a great Ornn pick. No Braum to be taking that out. You got a Nautilus already, so for sure engage here to follow up. And that Wukong does look like it's going bot.
Yeah, that is the Mad Lion special. So trickling over to LCS Academy,
Camille?
and then Fudge giving us that Camille into Ornn again.
Oh.
Last pick for mid. What is it going to be? So a lot of engage, a lot of short range, a lot of
No
melee
karma.
champions. Palafox, what you got?
Is the LB in there? You can pop a lot of these teammates. The Corki's for sure damage, right? The LB has to be perfect execution. The Corki, you can just throw out the Gatling gun and start taking everybody down. So great pickups here. The ability to get some long-range damage in and follow up with a beefy lineup for C9. What do you got, TSM? A great comp already to also get into some skirmishes. And what rounds this out?
I think that, yeah, just you got to play it safe here.
Called it, yeah.
I think maybe TSM wanted the Corki here for themselves, but C9
I can't believe we get to
snatched
see
it
a
in.
zero Corki.
Right, it was just going to be that. That was really what was the trade, and taking away the Cassidy because it was going to be a strong
As
pick
always.
into either is a solid idea, but I'm liking what Cloud9's got going on for them. They've played a lot of these champions before into these matchups, so we know what to expect. X factor is how good are Lost in Treats on Senna Wukong, because the difficulty in playing this Wukong from a support is that your support has to actually know how to play that champion. That is a very different style from being a Thresh player. But Treats is one of the better Academy supports, so if anybody can pull it off, I would bet on him.
Dude, these picks and champion selects make me think it's all as well for the long con. If this works, great. If it doesn't-ish, then maybe you flex the fact that you have an Ornn goes support, now you have Wukong top. Even more mind blown. just real fun stuff that could actually be done with these comps. But yeah, we haven't seen Ornn support in quite some time. It's one of my favorites though. I love the big guy down there because of all the turret diving you can do. But I'm sure these comps are going to deliver as I blabber on, and we are waiting for the teams to get ready. We will build that delay as always. So be sure you stick around as we build that delay. We're going to come and cast the game as it starts so you don't miss anything. Crumbs and I will be right back. You should too. Oh, hey. Didn't see you there. That's great. Crumbs, welcome back.
Hey, I am
Good.
very glad to be back. This is going to be one of the best Academy games. I really think these teams are LCS caliber rosters, both of them. And
Yeah.
we have a score to settle because of the records, because TSM's record is so much cleaner than C9's. I think the rosters, the comps both have very strong win conditions here, but execution is always everything when it comes down to top teams with solid drafts.
Absolutely. It will be in the game about a minute and a half as the players are getting extra prepared and to make sure all the competitive integrity is at the toppiest of notches. But looking at what we saw with those early game stats, at Cloud9, do you think they have picked a game that wins that early game and prevents TSM from being able to grab mid game as they so have trouble doing?
So Cloud9 should have priority in the bottom lane with Syndra
Okay.
Nautilus early game against the Wukong Senna that's just trying to hit level 6 and then all in. Then you've got mid lane Azir Corki. Azir wins a little bit early, but then Corki just gets the farm. So that lane is kind of eh. And then you got Camille against Ornn, who just wants to farm up, get a few levels, and then can pressure that matchup as well. But they do have a Volibear that can be a real menace when it comes to ganking and also tower diving. So they have a lot going on there. And on the flip side, well, you've got the Ornn for your scaling, you've got the Graves, you've got the Azir, so there's a lot that both teams can go for, but I just don't think much of it will come down to the early game. I think the game is going to be all about focusing on those objectives, mid to late, and big team fights, as the drafts tell us.
That's exactly what I want to see. I'm always excited to see it because we expected a bit of the top to be just fighters as well, right? And we got an Ornn coming in there. So definitely going to be getting to level 6 with the teams focused on huge objective fights and not just kind of semi-skirmishing, picking someone out and then getting themselves the advantage. So an all-out brawl is absolutely what I want to see. We have this going on as well in LCS, so I can't wait to see as like a little precursor to what's going to happen maybe. As Cloud9 has been decently following some, not strats, but the role of the main team and being strong early game, holding things. The victories aren't following, obviously, but I can't wait to see if this tells us anything about what the big LCS game will be. We're on to the Rift finally. Crumbs 5-3, 5-3. C9 7-1. TSM. Our mid lane matchup is Corki versus Zier for the first time ever, and we're on the Rift.
If you need an indication of what these teams then are aiming for, look no further than in the bottom of your screen and into Camille's item. Cold start.
Oh,
You know she wants to farm. It's going to be a
get
free
out the
lane.
lawn chair. You got a lemonade we can sip on?
You know what? I got the lemons. I just haven't squeezed them yet.
All right. I like it. You're just not following up on those life tails yet, right?
Right. I mean, life gives you lemons. Hold on to them, and
So you
figure
want 'em.
out
Why use them right away?
Figure out who wants to buy lemons for the highest price, and then sell them. Don't just give them away.
Exactly. Because you need more lemons. You got to tell them you need more lemons next time. It's all a process. So pretty calm. Not even forward wards here to start things off. They're okay with what pathing is going to be taken. Obviously, you're going to figure Winston starting up there at red. So Inori is going to take his blue and double up here with Brown. And we are off to the races. Like you said, Fudge, Conqueror to get in the fights, but Call to start off early, clean his plate, get all the minions, and make sure he's nice and full when it does come time to get into those fights.
I think it's really interesting how Camille is one of the few bruisers that can legitimately itemize so many different rune setups. We've seen her go Common, Grass, PTA, Conqueror. A lot of it depends on the matchup, and against Ornn, when you know you want to just hammer him away, PTA is not going to be enough for you to actually take him down. So that's where the Conqueror comes in here. In matchups like Jace, it's when you can go Common, where you can just be focusing on that W spam and make sure that you can be as harassy as possible.
See how he plays this. Oh, walks out, gets the adaptive shield to keep himself safe, and now he just keeps kicking Dokla. But Dokla's going to get a clap soon. Oh, no. He played off of it. One last kick. He chugs the potion just in time. Fudge puts himself in range for that cannon, though. Puts him down to 100 as Dokla is charging up a bit faster here. Biss gets the Doran shield now, as there is one more for Fudge. He's going to kick in. That's the slingshot, and it's going to be the elongated fight now. Dokla's on the wrong side of the goal, and it looks like he's going to have a long walk back home and then back to lane. No, the searing charge allows him to get out. I think there was maybe one bead of sweat on his forehead, but he looked pretty confident throughout the play.
He knew what he had to do. He had been out leveled to level 3. Just go back to the creep wave, kill it, and make sure you can E away.
Yeah.
It's going to cost him a TP. Well, don't know what Fudge is going to go for with his, but it looks pretty clear that the Camille is fairly powerful here. Fudge definitely knows how to make the most out of this pick, as he's, I believe, the only Academy player that's busted this out thus far.
It's comfortable for him, right? He just keeps doing it over and over. We have definitely not seen Camille in that long, or for that long. So, Lost backing up now as he just keeps collecting his souls on the bottom side. CS is falling slightly behind, but those are picked up by Treats, so it should even out nicely. And the lane's panning out already without any jungle pressure in favor of C9 a bit here. Pressure towards the top now. Oh, they're calling in Winston, so they figure there may be a bit more pressure if Fudge wants to keep playing that aggressive.
Look at those pings, though. I'm not sure who's going for those. It looks like both teams are aware of where the junglers are at, and Winston just knew that he needed to help out the Ornn as there was a big wave crashing, but he didn't stay. I'm not sure if Fudge is going to stick around to it. Big harass on the bottom lane onto the loss, but
that's an oopsie for sure. Walking out in front of the lane is a no-no on a Nautilus, so he gets hooked in. The Lost is going to have to heal off of that, and looks like they'll both actually just get a combined recall here. One wave's going to crash into the turret, and they're hoping to be that fight squad at least. Teleport here for Treat, so he'll be able to pick up what he needs.
Yeah, this is not a freezable wave for Fudge. Too many minions. But he's already in a happy position with no flash on Dokla. He can take advantage of the lane state and potentially start harassing. And maybe get a kill later with the level 6. And then a big bear coming his lane.
Just wait for the bear. Yeah, he's on second clear. So it looks like he will be bot side. Maybe if they get aggression from Lost and Treats, and he can feel great about where he's ending up on that side of the map. Ward towards the bot is Palafox. So it looks like he will stay down there a bit. Palafox puts the ward towards bot. He's going to be on Inori's side, and also knows if there's vision coming for a gank, he may get in a little bit. So here goes the gank we were expecting. Even pushed into the lane. C9 wants to try to get this, and they may even get it to work. Treats not going to be able to do too much as he clones out of that, and they all get the crying Zoe face and a sad Gnar as they drop TSM loss for first blood. Cloud9 looking happy.
And they're going to get even more than first blood because they're going now for that dragon straight in line with what the Cloud9 main team wants to go for. But here's the dives. Dokla is sick. This is a huge play.
Adaptive goes up, not going to matter. He's actually just against the turret for that end of the line damage immediately. But the follow-up is from Dokla as Cloud Drake, the first one, is going to head and go over the side of Cloud9.
That is a really good response from TSM to go for the top lane. Now, it's not going to be quite as damaging because of the early play that Fudge had gone for. He saved his teleport so that he could go back into the lane, which is why he lost that level advantage and hit 6 later than Dokla, but it allows him to die and still come back and take the creep wave that was crashing his way. So I think that Cloud9 can simply be glad that they got the dragon, but the Ornn, if he starts getting ahead, these split-pushing champions really do have a hard time. He is dubbed the assassin top lane tank mage for a reason.
Here's the bot fight one more time.
Lots of flashing, lots of instant CC that the Senna can't really engage upon. This is her weakness. When she starts falling behind, she can be somebody that's quite easy to pick on. Yeah, she does not have a good way of disengaging from anybody except her W, and her mist, really not that great if people can just gap close you.
Yeah. You know what? You're going to get stunned. You're just going to get stunned in range of her if you're quick enough. So we have the Bramble Vest for Dokla as we look back to the top lane for a moment, trying to just negate what Fudge is going to be doing throughout the lane and trying to heal himself. Scepter there as well to help. And back down to the bot side. A slight push here for C9. It was actually interesting to me that they did decide to go for that gank, right? Even more unexpected gank when TSM treats and Lost feel comfortable at that kind of 75% mark of their lane farming. You are not safe from Inori and Diamonds engage. Fudge under the turret for a quick shot. Searing charge into the knock-up and a brittle. Should be able to heal that back up quick. A little bit of misplay there, but he's just having fun with Dokla at this point. Winston.
Look at the wards from both teams. TSM in the top side of the map, double control, so making sure that the red side and blue potential is completely covered, and that makes Winston's decision-making a lot easier. He knows it would be pretty useful for him to be down here because it's unlikely that Inori is going to be pathing to the top side because he would either be counter-jungling or going for a tower dive into the Ornn that has already proved to be quite a tough opponent here in the top lane. Not as easy a matchup as Fudge would have hoped for, but he still has that cool advantage that will help him out in the end. So it'll eventually swing over into C9's side, and they are all switching over to the Rift Herald as Palafox has that package, and it can be a good opportunity for securing that main objective with a significant power spike that TSM may not have an answer to.
Yeah, I'm really surprised we haven't seen any action toward Corki Azir in the mid lane. Just so
it's an explosive lane, Riv. We see it all the time for good reason. Teams just want to just bust out the big guns and give us Azir Corki.
I mean, I think we've seen the fuse right next to the dynamite the whole time. I'm not sure how it hasn't gone off. You know, they'll take down Rift Herald right in the eye. Painful stop. Inori drops this. I think we're going to start getting a little motion on the Rift now and see where they'll try to go. So bot lane, Lost and Treats making quick work of the plates on this turret. Unfortunately, they weren't the ones to grab Rift Herald because at 2, that turret becomes yours. Nice job picking up some cash down there. They're definitely keeping themselves safe for what they need, and that's the fight phase. As long as they don't go down over and over in the spot side, they are good. C9 tried to do it once already and only came up with a loss. So a pretty calm early game, all things considered. Both teams definitely giving each other a good amount of respect here to start things off.
That calm is going to be interrupted like the morning dawn by a rooster, Riv. We got a minute until this dragon, and TSM is well aware that Cloud9 loves to stack these on command. They have already based when it comes to TSM, so they are preparing themselves with the best items they can go for. And it looks like C9 will do so as well. So 50 seconds is a pretty good time to go for it. You can just beeline straight to the lane and into the dragon. You'll be able to take a fight if the opponents are to start it right away. Same thing with Inori. He's in the base right now, and the big fights are about to break out. Yet there's no TPs into the top lane from the top laners, so it's likely going to be a 4-on-4, but we might just see it break out in the lane instead of in the river.
Oh, Tomo. You can see how quick Diamond's trying to make it down here right now. They're cutting through the jungle as well to make sure they have actually any lead off of the fight, or escape, I should say, as they lead themselves in, rather. Right, it's all mid lane. No! Did he think they were coming bot? Tomo stepped way too far forward, and he gets himself taken out. Unleashed power goes down as well. Double summoners as he had just teleported back to lane. And now a fight towards the top side. Can Dokla get the clap on 2? Fudge. That's going to be one shot. Nice use of the ultimate there as he gets the challenge in to try and take down Dokla, but the ultimatum will not allow him to get the kill, but does keep him alive.
TSM is looking good. That was sick. I thought Winston had gone a little bit too early on that play, but Treats was just in range to be able to follow up with that flash ultimate. So the kill into the bottom lane about 20 seconds before the dragon gets you the objective. You got the Syndra, but now, despite Dokla being able to win on that 1v1, since C9 had already lost that play in the bottom lane, they were quick to rotate to the top side to make sure that they can salvage something from it. And Dokla is getting jumped on. He's got flash, but how long can he really live for here? Actually,
it's amazing. I love it. Rift Herald into the turret. Denial by Inori. Now he's kind of left out to dry as he's just trying to waltz out of this one. Winston with the end of the line isn't really doing too much damage. You see that health just going right back up for Inori. But a Rift Herald into Volibear ult. Just kind of like throwing the kitchen sink up there at Dokla. I love the play.
And it's a champion that loves taking all that pressure, knowing that you are always going to be useful and even provide help for your teammates down the line, especially when you get these many carries that will benefit greatly from your upgrades. Back to the bottom lane, though, there's no deep wards for TSM to go for any cheeky plays with Dokla's ultimate or teleport, so we're going to just have the Wukong continue to farm, and it's a champion you never want to underestimate. This pick, building full damage, is just an absolute demon that will be able to shred tanks and carries alike. And when you have so many other threats, he can really sneak by and be a quiet menace.
It's the stories. The history would tell you. You know, 1 Cyclone Wukong, maybe you didn't have to worry. 2, that's a nightmare. You know, it's just something new.
I'd like to see game design buff champions that way. It's like, oh, how should we buff it? What if we give them 2 ultimates? Like, that's it. That's the way we buff champions.
We have the
just
technology.
Give them 2 activations of everything.
I love it. I still want like a lasso whip champion. That'd be sweet. I mean, we have Threshes, but I still think it would be cool to kind of get that distinguished. You made a shorter lasso or a longer lasso look. It'd be sweet.
Like leashing onto your ally or onto the enemy?
Maybe even a few, right? Maybe if you could throw out more than one and hook to people. Kind of be like your own face breaker with lassos or holding them in place. I don't know. We need a real, just powerful champion. Just rocking it.
I mean, I think we got the skins, but we just
skins
we don't have someone
backgrounds.
who actually has that.
Yeah. Exactly.
That was cool.
We're
from
at 15
Dokla.
on this one. Yeah, I'll take it. Dokla looking good up top. Sunfire Cape into the Bramble means Fudge really isn't going to be able to get through too much of that. As it just looks like C9 is kind of setting up to get anybody roaming around. C9 with a bit of that gold lead towards the beginning. I don't think this puts TSM in a position where we were looking at the stats where they're not in control if they didn't have early game. This has been quite even back and forth here. And 2 turrets for TSM. I'm sorry, 2 kills for TSM to start off will help them with a bit more of those core items early.
These are currently our 2 strongest academy teams, so
the
fact that it is this close, I think, just bodes really well for how well they have been playing in the rest of the league. And I cannot wait to see what happens at the end of the year, not only for the finals, but which of these players get picked up for LCS teams, because a lot of them are definitely ready to go for that end. With Palafox ready to go with that package, and they're going to catch Fudge, but the W doesn't connect from loss. I don't think that's going to be, let's see, you can get away from that.
Woo. Adaptive Shield helping get the slingshot off, so it actually goes through the abilities. And they play that one nicely. And I completely agree with you as well. Who gets picked up, right? We're already seeing Immortals. I mean, I thought Insanity should have been on the LCS stage for quite some time, so it's awesome to see him getting a bit of that playtime now. And just a lot of these players that have been playing their heart out that you never really know, right? A lot of times people think someone's as good as their last game, right? Obviously, coaches will look by that and around that too, kind of a history of games, but it's tough to know or expect when somebody should be in the LCS, but I guess you just got to try them out is the answer.
A lot of the times the players will just play to the height of their opponent. That happens in the LCS a lot of the times, and it increase the pressure. A lot of times players just play better under higher pressure circumstances when they know they've made it. This is the time to shine. And they might have been holding back, or they might not playing with teammates that can really enhance their best of their abilities. And that happens a lot of the time, and here comes Evolve getting ganked, but he's fine. Even though Volibear can disable the turret, it's not the play to go for. The big objective is that Ocean Drake, so the Herald is the big distraction, like a magician with balls. He's just making you think that that's where the real trick is, while the distraction occurs in the bottom side of the map. Oh no, you've lost the Drake.
So much misdirection. What do you do? How do you look in the correct direction? What is he even doing over there? You never know. And there's the Drake. Boom. Popped it out of a hat.
They
Now there's
fooled
water
us.
everywhere.
And then everybody claps. Fooled, fooled. How did they do it?
And then you realize there's mirrors everywhere. What do we do? Still a very close game. Within 400 gold here as Lost and Winston go ahead and take it towards the top side of the map and get this pushed in. And they will meet up with Treats, who's pushed up a bit. So, see if they can get this turret and then go down towards mid would kind of be the only answer here. Is Cloud9's trying to push back with the same aggression now. I think too much respect given everywhere it comes. I wanted to see explosive fights all the time.
When the stakes are this high, usually the teams go back to the most calm and calculated.
What if they were fighting for stakes?
Pardon?
You said the stakes were high, but I said what if they were fighting for stakes?
Oh.
Right? I'm saying.
You know what? If we were playing in studio, they definitely would be. Because teams love to go out for big fancy dinners after they get a big...
That's
big
true.
win.
That's so true. Oh, Nori. Almost getting treats on that one. He's able to dash over the wall with the vision of his teammate. You know, Cloud9, Jack used to do that with the first team. I remember the interviews when Meteos was Zach, king of the jungle, and I was on the team calling the shots, and everybody balls in the top lane. As Jack used to, they would always be so excited to go out for pizza after a win. And I think that's why they always won. You know, pizza.
Definitely helps when you know it feels good to spend big on a big meal that's on your team owner's paycheck after you do your thing. Like, yeah, right, we win, we get fancy food. We don't, we get Chipotle delivery. Like, all right, okay, I'll, pick your poison there.
Yep. Looking at the gold graphs a little bit here. A good lead for Palafox in mid. 1,000 gold for him. He does have a 200 gold bounty. 212 to 198 as he's kept himself pretty up, in, 2 waves up in CS, but also roaming to figure out what's going on around the map. We'll have to see if any big plays can come in that turn the tide of this game anytime soon.
The most
towards
notable
the bot side,
was Fudge getting those 2 turrets. Just the Camille being able to push much faster than the 3-man unit of TSM, which was also jumped in by the Nori defense. So C9 prioritizing those side lanes a little bit better, and still the gold is just negligible. It is all about what's going to happen in these fights.
I'm enjoying Lost on the Senna here because when Treats is actually in that shroud, you don't know where Wukong is going to be dashing out from. I like the little synergy there you have with being able to hide him. Now they're together. Winston, a pile of 3 just above River for TSM, but it does not look like they'll be able to take down a Nori. He really wanted that ward.
Whoa.
Tomo, flash. Fight over to Treats as they want to shut down the Wukong immediately. He's trying to get a Cyclone from behind the turret, and this was quickly to clone and deter C9 away from mid-turret. Half health done by TSM, but it took him quite a bit just to make C9 move.
They wanted to threaten their dive because they saw Fudge going for something here, and I don't think he's going to stick around for the entire turret. He just might. Oh, yeah, no, he gets it, and that is huge. Fudge is just taking gold from TSM, running away with it, and waving goodbye.
So the thing is yeah, you have top laners that clear, right, Crumbs? When's the last time you went against a top laner who had Ravenous Hydra built so quickly? When you leave the lane, you basically have to come back. It's already pushed in 2 auto attacks and an item. So I think that's the thing that kind of threw TSM for a loop here, is that the lanes are moving way faster than they expected they would.
Absolutely. It's a really solid build from Fiora and Camille's into the Ornn specifically, because he's actually just so menacing when it comes to whittling you down. You need the sustain to stay in the lane, but I think a lot of it is, I think Dokla is definitely strong enough to survive Camille at this point. He's not going to get dove under turret entirely, but now it's too late. Now there is no turret. Now he can definitely get killed here, and defending is going to be a lot tougher. He does have the Senna ultimate that he can count on if things get really tricky, and there is a TP from Treats. But Fudge just knows he has to bide his time, wait for the objectives to happen. When TSM gets distracted, he can sneak down into the lane and get an inhibitor or a strong flank.
And actually, I was going to talk about Treats next. I love that you brought him up. It's such a versatile player as well. Your support's on Wukong right now. Still finding flanks, something that's been in his mind as a support to look for those for a while. So I think that works perfectly for him, and he's always happy to go aggressive on the champions that he plays. So seeing treats on this Wukong, really, really cool for him. He's been someone that's been in a lot of people's eyes here in the Academy League for quite some time, as Dokla gets a sick dodge on the big Ornn. Here comes the horn, he rings the dinner bell, whereas the follow-through Evolve, looking for that Emperor's Divide, and he gets shut down immediately before he even really pulls the soldiers out. Winston is trying to turn back with the team now as here's Treats. Cyclone to the back line, that is gigantic. Second Cyclone off to the side, but it's going to be enough. No, it will not. Treats goes down as Cloud9 just reigns on the TSM parade.
TSM jumps the gun on the engage. Yes, there was an opportunity for a big fat knockup, but Treats had not been there just yet. They go into that 4v5 and they pay dearly for it. C9 with a huge win. They don't care about that Ocean Soul. The Dragon, right? The Baron is much more important now. Winston will take his, what do you call it? Commendation prize? Oh, I forget.
Oh, consolation prize.
I've never gotten one of those. I either just lose flat out.
Usually it's the little spider ring.
The spider ring prize of the ocean, so of the ocean dragon. But that fight was TSM just going way too hard. Look at this fight happens. Wukong isn't even teleporting just yet, so they are walking into a 4v5. Wukong is just, he's TPing now. The fight is already lost. They did not really stand a chance when you have that big of a disadvantage. If Wukong was able to be there from the start, I totally see what they were going for. But that was just forcing when they had no business doing so.
And Crumbs, I got to hand it to you. You wanted to watch the top lane, I wanted to watch the mid lane, and I'm watching the top lane now. Fudge has just wreaked havoc on this game, brought out the Camille versus the Ornn, and has really made the difference.
Camille is an underrated pick, yet so many people struggle to play it because she requires finesse. She's not easy. She definitely is somewhat tricky in the laning phase and in fights as well, but it's good to see that Fudge busted it out here, because I was worried that I wanted to watch the top lane and then we got Ornn versus Maokai kind of matchup, and then we got like Zoe casted in mid. It's like, oh, definitely it was mid, but I think you were definitely also right in watching mid. It's just that the champions played out to be Corki Azir, so we knew what was going to happen.
Went back for the safety picks. I respect it. I respect it. And still make some impact plays here. Only 2 soldiers out, looking for a third one to get that attack speed buff. There it is. Kenny moving forward, and they're just going to shred through Diamond as he tries to throw up the emote. And it's what? He says, what am I doing? And he goes down with the Silas. Not like this.
Might be thinking about Fudge. He has flash, and he's really slippery.
Dashes out of that one. Baron still for another minute. So look at Palafox up here. Triforce, Rapid Fire Cannon, Muramana fixed up. Evolved probably a quarter of his health on one shot, especially if it's on a Sheen proc as he tries to hit the Foss Bomb. And, oh, he just got the cannon. What a save. It's not going to last long, though. That inhibitor chart going down. He can't even call for help. Evolve's going to be here in a 1v1. And he's trying to push out even further. I like the pressure. Showing his team is coming, though. So what's the rest of C9 going to do here? A nice shot by Dokla. Is he playing Yahoo Pool over there? Right in the kisser of Palafox from downtown with the Ornn.
But look at what happened.
Once again.
The first time TSM picks Diamond, they lose the top tier 2 and almost lose the top tier 3.
Yeah.
And now Fudge just sneaks away an inhibitor, punishing the Palafox pick. Like, they are not giving up anything for free.
And he's just able to now get a surplus of items, sitting on that Aegis, looking forward for even just more. Caulfield's beautiful. Give me more. Give me more.
Once she gets that Death Dance, she is just going to be a menace unlike no other. We've seen how Aphelios can heal for a 900 on a single auto attack. Camille with this build, kind of in the same boat. There's really only one person that's going to stop that healing, and it's going to be Ornn with his Bramble Vest, but any other target needs to be with a lot of help in CC if they are to stop Fudge once this build hits that 3-item spike.
And Tomo has given C9 such an interesting dynamic. being able to throw in the APs. You even said you'd like to see the mages in the bot side, and he seems comfortable. The Cassiopeia plays were great as well, and he's also got the marksman. So what a pickup by C9 here. Again, seeing that early talent and just able to kind of link it up with the team and make it work right away. It's very, very impressive.
That wave clear that mid laners provide from the bottom lane makes it so that when you go into that 1-3-1 mid, you're uncontested. It's so much harder for an AD to be in the same vicinity as a Syndra and have priority on the lane. She's just so menacing, and it allows C9 to be in these positions that can constantly punish for any pick that happens in the side lanes when you're able to push so much faster than your opponent and even threaten a kill if they overstep. So we got 30 seconds until this Dragon. It's going to be the Azir turret that can bide some time for TSM, but with the Wukong basing and there's no vision inside for TSM, this looks to be another clear C9 Dragon that TSM will have to accept as theirs.
It's that mid-game statistics proving true once again. We see C9, a slight lead. Looking at that lead, 400 gold, 500 gold, as you said before, negligible, doesn't really mean much, but C9 kept pushing advantages, knowing they had that. A lot of teams aren't as sure when they have a bit of the game, but when Fudge is taking multiple turrets around the map, Cloud9 was able to hold that advantage quite strong, and we see TSM faltering without that mid-game pressure, or without that mid-game lead. C9 are able to pick up another Ocean now on Soul Point in the next 5 minutes, so that'll be around 33. They'll be able to attempt for that, and they'll just bide their time until then, looking for some fights and attempting at Baron in 30 seconds.
That was a lazy engage on Totoma, so far away, and it's not like in the top lane where you can just corner the Corki and get him out. In the mid lane, Syndra has a much easier time disengaging from you, and the Graves even tried to go for the Corki, but he's got packaged. That kind of fight never happens unless Corki actually wants it to occur. So there was not a chance that TSM was actually going to get a kill in there. And I want to go back to your point about the mid game, because I really felt like TSM was doing a solid job in finding opportunities. Now, they got a little bit out of hand where they were trying to force too much and gave Camille too much breathing room. And the big enchilada was that 4-on-5 engage. There was just no way they were able to win that fight.
Yeah, just on the Raptor pit. Thinking the teleports were there, but not really having a close war. Just the small things where you want to go full in on a play, and one of those pieces wasn't set up correctly, makes it all fall apart. TSM, though, still looking poised to be able to defend themselves. That happens as long as they can track Fudge, which has been so hard. Huge credit to him on the top side for just knowing he's disappearing into Fog of War, coming back out as people leave his lane. It's at this point where you're basically dealing with that whole Nasus idea, where you're pulling your hair out, knowing Fudge is not going to leave that lane. He's not going to stop prioritizing pushing, and that's exactly what makes it so stressful to play against when somebody like him is that far ahead.
And just like the Nasus, you know if you get too close, you're going to get popped as well. So Camille kind of in a similar boat.
Exactly.
C9 goes for an engage, and Camille's in the back flanking. Wukong's not here yet.
Yeah, Wukong not. Palafox as well on the flank. They're going to have Winston on the back line, and that's going to be 1, 2, 3 shots to Winston. He's almost completely out of the fight. Treats now on the Cyclone for Palafox, but he's kiting it out. He's alive still. Dokla with his hearing charge into the wall, and they might be able to take down Cloud9 now. Be the tank wars, but the damage from Fudge is just going to be too much. He will refresh these buffs, and he will get this kill on Dokla.
Fight. Everybody goes down except Fudge, who gets this push. Now he's the fastest pusher on C9 thus far, so he's going to get Dokla's hot out of this. I think he might be able to, probably just only one. Actually, could dive lost, but will likely play it safe here.
I mean, yeah, they could dive lost.
So
funny,
the
as I say
big
that, I'm
thing
like,
in
Fudge
that
is
fight was,
doing one
again,
thing,
it
push
was a
side
fight that
lanes,
Wukong
wins
was
the
not
full
there
40,
from the
90
start.
going
Now,
down mid. Okay,
it was
cool.
really
Cool flex,
close,
you're
and
everywhere.
I
We get
think
it.
it was closer because Palafox actually went kind of ham for the Graves instead of sticking with the rest of the fight. It was really messy on a lot of fronts, but it shows you that TSM can definitely still contend here. This is not a weak composition by any stretch of the imagination. They just don't have the items to quite contend just yet now. And Dragon's going to be up in a minute 30, and that's going to be the objective that C9 will want to defend with their lives. But for now, all about Baron, and look at the damage. That Fudge just casually pops onto Winston. Here comes the engage, but again, TSM not necessarily in the best position, but the marksmen are dealing so much damage. They taking down Tomo, treats it down. Doko's taking some damage in the backline, but now, yep, Inori still over here. Uh-oh. GA. That was really good. I thought that went well. TSM got a few kills, but unfortunately, you only got the GA from the Camille. She still gets to live again and just lifesteal off of the Baron. She can't solo it with the debuff, but with Inori coming in here and Palafox staying alive, this is the fight that still benefits C9, which has been the trend of the game thus far. They win or lose a fight, doesn't matter. They're still in the better position when it comes to the objectives, and they'll be able to get the base in time and go straight for the Ocean Soul. TSM now trying to set up before C9 gets here. This is a good move. Get the crab. They're just going to camp out here quietly, maybe catch an unsuspecting victim. But laying down the vision is the first step forward. They're not going to be able to clear out that sweeper, and that's really going to hurt because now everything has been revealed, and they're not in position to go for this. I think a really interesting thing is that Palafox is packaged with all these fights, and here they go again. Palafox just still gets to go into the back line. It's about to pop it forward, and there he goes. It's just obliteration from C9. This game has just gone off the rails. Palafox going to get one more kill here. A single auto, a 5-for-0 ace, and in 33 minutes, C9 dispatched TSM. TSM still #1 though. They still have the winningest record in the LCS, 7-2. But C9 have the longest win streak and have taken down the #1 team, winning 6 games in a row, coming up from their 0-3 start. A stellar performance out of the solo lanes. But more importantly, I think Fudge has had a fantastic Camille game, really reinforcing the case that you should be playing these carries in the top lane, that Ornn is not the savior to all of your problems. You can play a lot more, and he just did that.
And they win!
Hey!
Oh my
They did it.
word! That was great. We had such a good conversation at the end there, and you were really on point with everything you said, answering my questions. So a fantastic job, and Cloud9 really crushing it as I warped out of the interweb highway there for a moment, and now I'm back with crumbs. But yeah, for Cloud9 to have such a strong game, knowing where TSM was sitting in the standings, we knew this one was going to be a banger. And it didn't, I wouldn't say deliver in the early game. I think we got two teams that knew what they could do to each other playing that whole not want to lose mentality. But Cloud9 definitely stepped up, and I think Fudge was the catalyst, as you said, for making that happen.
He put so much pressure on the map on the side lanes. They did not want to deal with him, but Doka gave a good fight, good run for his money in the early laning phase. Despite losing that first trade, he was still able to salvage the lane with the help of Winston. But this Academy League continues to level up because I guarantee you TSM won't be happy about that loss. They had an opportunity, I think, in this game to get a strong fight, drop the ball for it, but they have been at the top for a reason. They are resilient, they have strong drafts, they're innovating, and they'll be back with a vengeance because they do not want to let C9 win again in this year.
I completely agree with you. You hit it spot on. I'm sure they're ready and raring to get back at another match of that, and hopefully it'll be maybe a finals, maybe best of 5, maybe all the way to 5. We'll see. A lot more games to go for the day. Crumbs, I'm going to be stepping away. I hope you continue to have a great time with the other scholar of Academy, as Pace Your Time will be stepping in. Thanks, everybody. We're stepping away right now for a 3-minute break, and I will chat with the victorious Palafox when we return.
Farewell, good sir.
prayers.
Welcome back, everyone. I am joined by Palafox for the Verizon post-game interview. Congratulations on the victory. This was a pretty big one today. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Especially like after people thought like me or us and TSM were like close in terms of skill. I don't think that's the case at all. So it feels pretty good to win.
Heck yeah. So what kind of were your expectations coming in? Did you think it would have been a faster paced game, a slower paced game? And overall, did you just think you were better in the first place?
Well, watching TSM's games, they haven't really showed any good
Hmm.
macro. They kind of just run it down mid. And yeah, I mean, we banned out Zoe, which is like you can run it down mid and fight champ, and then they picked better early game champs and just didn't do anything with it. So
Nice. So looking at top lane, obviously Fudge was a huge factor in this one. Was the Camille ready for it today? Obviously it's something he can bring out, but it just dominated the game. Did you expect to just completely side lane TSM?
yeah, I mean, when a team just like obviously like when they pick champs that want to run it down mid or they just decide like they don't know how to deal with split push, picking champions like Camille and stuff is like obviously really good. And then Fudge is just really, really good at side lane champs
Mhm.
too. So we're always comfortable to put him on those types of champs.
Right on. And just kind of talking about you for a little bit, who are you kind of currently looking at, watching in other leagues in mid lane to up your game?
Oh, I think right now it's like obviously like Showmaker, Rookie, Knight, Chovy. Sometimes I think Humanoid's pretty good from LEC. And I think Caps is like
Cool.
Caps is really good too. So, but mostly I just watch like Humanoid and like Rookie and them.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. That's going to be it. Congratulations on the win. It was definitely a big game for C9
Okay.
today, and you guys have looked so great coming out in the last few games. So, best of luck on the rest of the split, and take care, Palafox. All right, everybody, we are going to take a quick break
All right.
now. When we
Thank you.
come back, we will have more games coming up. I believe that's going to be Evil Geniuses versus Golden Guardians. Don't go anywhere.